Hello, we're just going to do another AutoCAD session on how to do things. So we're just going to have a look. I'm not going to draw them all for you. Hopefully you'll be able to draw straight lines and use the offset command to do that. But we're just going to pick up some common questions. So people ask, how do we do these lines here? And this is called hatching. So looking at this, what shape is this? How do we know what shape it is when we've only got one view? Why is there only one view? Might be something else that we ask. Well, as soon as we see this symbol here, we should be thinking diameter. And as soon as we're thinking diameter, we're thinking circles. And in this case, we're thinking cylinders. But why does it look like this? Well, this is called hatching. We use hatching to show that we've chopped it in half for clarity. Okay, so then we can see this inside. We can see the hole on the inside and we can see the solid on the outside. So just to show you what we mean, we're going to flick back to here. Let's just show this and this. So that's our sub-assembly there, T-bar assembly. If we look in the general assembly, we can see that what we're looking at is that part there. So let's just zoom out to see how that fits with the rest of it. Okay, so there's the part that we're looking at. So if we just flick back to the T-bar and let's click on the eyeball so that the only thing we've got left is this. Okay, so as you can see, it's a cylinder with a hole through. So why does it look like it does on the engineering drawing? If we go to section view and we click here, there you go. You can see that's exactly what we're looking at. And let's just wiggle that around so we get it nice and straight. Okay, and then we can hidden edges removed. There you go. So we cross hatch where we've cut, and then obviously this bit in the middle goes into the screen, as it were, or into our piece of paper. It curves away from us, so that doesn't get cross hatched. There we go. That perhaps shows it a little bit more clearly. So that's, oops daisy, that's what we're looking at just there. So the question then becomes, how do we get this cross hatching in AutoCAD? So we're just going to flip back to AutoCAD. I'm just going to draw a quick rectangle to demonstrate this. Okay, and all we do, we've got a hatch button just there. So if we press the hatch button, then we should get this toolbar up. If it doesn't, you should see the hatch creation tab there. So just click on the hatch creation. And we can click on it like that. You can see that just fills in that space. And we can click on more than one space at a time, and that will have the same hatch pattern. And it might be, and we can click on that drop down, and we've got a whole world of different hatches that you can see. And you can see that that's a brick hatch, for example, or we've got, and that doesn't even show, does it? So let's try that one. So why is that not showing? Well, it's the wrong scale. So what we can do is we can change the scale, and hopefully something will happen soon. No, there's nothing happening there. I'm going to. There we go. There we go. I was just thinking about it. So we can change the scale. You see that moving off there. All right, we're going in the wrong direction. Let's move it up. There we are. We've got something there. It's gone off again. There we go. So I just typed in a small number there, and you can see. So we can change how that looks by doing that. We can change the angle by doing that. Okay, and that's how we can do hatches. So generally in engineering we use sort of hatches that are straight lines. So that's a little bit too much, isn't it? There we are. So we can just perhaps bring that down a little bit, make it a little bit. There we go. And oops, yeah, that's because I clicked outside of the box there. But we just close that. We can just tap escape to come out of that, and that's how we do hatches. So you just select the closed areas. If it comes up and says that your area isn't closed, that means that even though your lines look like they're touching at the ends, they don't actually touch at the ends. So that's what else might we need to know about that? You might need to know that is using the Fillet Command. So our fillet button is just there, just like the chamfer command that we've used previously. You can see we've put a corner in there. If you're not on the right size, you can change the radius. So we're in the fillet command. You can click radius there. You can type R and press enter, and there you can see it lets us set the radius. Okay. Right, that's everything we need to know about that, I think. So that's hopefully that drawing nice and easy for you. Oh, in order to do that dimension, somebody was asking me about that today. Just click dimension, he says. Zoom in a bit. Click dimension, pick your corner, and there we go. Okay. Simples. Right, so that's that. Next up is the small grip. So I'm just going to cover a little bit of theory of engineering drawing here as well, which hopefully you'll find helpful. So we've got, first of all, we'll have a look at what this part looks like in 3D, because I think that's probably helpful. Should I just do this as another video? No, we'll carry on. What does it look like in 3D? So we'll just, oopsie daisy, we'll just flick back to here. And we've got one of these on, here's one I prepared earlier. So that's on the long arm. And I've just got the big grip there, the short arm. There we are. Let's go for what it is, small grip, there we are. And there's the small grip. So this is what it looks like in 3 dimensions, but how does that relate to the drawing? Well, there's our side view. Move it around our piece of paper. There's our front view. And there's our top view. So because we're doing first angle orthographic projection, remember, when we're looking at the top view on our piece of paper, we're actually looking at the bottom of the object. So we can see you've got those 3 lines going across. So let's just do that again without the shading, so we can just see what that looks like there. Okay. Yeah, we're just moving it around our piece of paper like that. Okay. Right. So if we flick back to the drawing, that's what we're seeing. Okay. Right. So the first thing I'm going to look at is being lazy with our drawing technique. And I'm just going to pause this video because I need a sneeze. I'm not going to pause this video because I need a sneeze, because yeah, because the pause facility isn't available in the little drop-down menu from the bottom, which is a little bit annoying. Right, I'll continue through. Oh, okay, quick drink of water there. Right, so that's what we're looking at. If we'll let's just do something like this. Okay, let's just make that a bit smaller. Right, and scroll that into view, so we know what we're looking at more or less there. Right, so back over to AutoCAD. Let's move that over. Okay, so I'm just going to very quickly put this together. So I'm drawing 2 lines. Escape, O for offset, specify offset distance, it's a 19 square, so 19 that way and 19 that way, escape, TR, trim command, select everything, right click or press enter, select the things that I want to get rid of. There we go. Right, so we've done our thing. Now we need to do the circle, so I'm going to flick over to the center layer. I'm going to go over to annotate. I'm going to do a center line. Click there, and repeat. Click there, click there. So now we've created that center point, so we can go back and just, excuse me. So we can go back, and we're going to do that circle, and we just take that circle to our edge. But Steve, you've done the circle on the center layer. There we go. Just select the circle, go back there, and there we are. Job done. So that's that drawing done very quick. I've missed a circle, haven't I? What's that inside circle? That inside circle is diameter 8. Okay. So circle. Oops, daisy. Circle. Remember, specify radius. So radius is 4 if the diameter is 8. And it really needs to go on the proper layer, don't I? There we go. Let's select that again and put that there. Right, okay, so now we're working on layer 0. All right, so that's that finished very quick. Now, because I can't be bothered, I don't want to have to do that offset again. I don't want to measure that again, because why should I have done it here? And it's the same. So I'm going to flick to the construction layer. I'm going to switch the construction layer on first. You can see I've already done some there previously. So I'm going to switch to the construction line. Now I'm just going to do a construction line there. Let's move that out of the way. And I'm going to repeat that L for line there. Okay. And then all I need to do then is come back to here, and I can do a line there. I can use my old friend offset, and I can offset by, oh no, it doesn't say. Well, we need to take the drawing as a whole, 13. So I can offset by 13. Okay, so offset by 13, enter, select my line, and offset. So we've done that. TR for trim, select everything, get rid of that, that, and that. Okay, and then finally select those and put them up there. Okay, so we've done that quite quickly. And we've got this little bit here, that's 3mm around the centre and 1.5 deep. Okay, so let's zoom in then. Right, so we need a centre line, so why not? Let's put a centre line in. Generally, centre lines are one of the last things you put in. You do all the details and then you put in the centre. You do all the details, you do the chamfers and the fillets, and then you put in the centre lines. So I'm just going to kind of break with that for a moment. And put a centre line in there because it's useful. And so there we go, we've got our centre line. Right, so I've got, yeah. Now I'm going to go back here, I'm going to use my offset command, and I'm going to offset by 1.5mm. So here we go, 1.5, enter. Okay, I'm just going to do that up, and then I'm going to just draw a line from there to there, because it's a centre line, it won't let me. Oh dear, let's undo that. In fact, I'm not going to use the centre line because I use the annotate command. It doesn't let you offset centre lines that you actually create. So I'm just going to draw line control and right click from the midpoint there. And I'm going to draw it straight as well. Let's try that again one more time for luck. Let's move off the centre layer. There we are. I'm just going to type mid because I can't be bothered pressing control and right clicking. So there we go, and there we go. Right, okay. Good. Right. Offset 1.5 return. Right. We're going to go there. We're going to go there. And we're going to go there. So that's 1.5 either side of the centre line and 1.5 up. So that's everything we need then to create that. So we're just going to then join up the dots. Go from there to there to there. And then we're going to use the trim command to take out everything we don't need, which is that and that. And then we can use the erase command, which is E for erase, or we can just press enter there, or we can select it all and press the delete button on the keyboard. And there we have it. Okay. What else do we need to know? We need to know we've got that dotted line there that's showing the hidden detail, and that tells us that this hole goes all the way through. So how do we do that? Well, we can do construction line again if we want. Or we can just go straight for a hidden detail line because we know it's hidden detail. And we can do our line, and we can control and right click, and we've got a quadrant snap, and that just snaps to the north, east, south or west points of a circle. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to do that there. I'm going to bring that across. I'm going to do that here. I'm going to bring that across. Okay, and then I'm just going to trim. There we are. We've very quickly put that in place. That's not looking quite right, is it? Okay, never mind. I'm going to carry on regardless. I think it must be right, mustn't it? What else do we need to know? We need to know about this curve. How do we do that? Well, we know it's 1mm there. Okay, so let's construct that point. Offset 1mm. Yeah, it's all about constructing points that you don't know. Right, and then we can use the arc command. Read what it says next to the cursor. Specify start point of arc. So I'm going to be that intersection that I've just created. The next point of the arc needs to be the midpoint of this line. So again, control and right click and select midpoint, or you can just type mid and press enter. And then our final point of our arc is back down to there. And that's it. So as you can see, I'm still on the hidden detail there. So let's just place that back there and then move to there. Okay. Now we want that on that side, so we're going to use the mirror command because I'm a bit feeling lazy again. What does it say? Select objects. So that's the object we want to mirror. Right click and press enter. Specify point of first line of mirror line, so that's there, and it just takes us straight up there. Yeah. Erase source objects, so we can erase that initial thing or we can keep it in place. We don't want to erase it, we want it there, so we're just going to click now. And that's very quickly how to do that. So now we're on to this view up here. So let's just move over. Yeah, let's carefully move around. So how do we do this quickly, and how do we make sure those lines are in the right place? Well, we can do as we did before. Let me just get rid of that. We can do as we did before, so let's just flick over to a construction layer. We can do a line up here, like that, and a line up here, like that. So that saves us having to faff about and, you know, get things lined up and things and get things straight. We know that those two lines, because, you know, that line and that line are in the same place, and that line and that line are in the same place. But if only we could take some of the information from here and bring it over to here, and then we wouldn't have to do any more measuring. Well, I've got good news for you. We can do that. So what we do is draw a line, and we just press tab there and make sure that that's at 45 degrees. Okay, and then we can take our points here. Whoops days, I need to make sure that's longer, don't I? Is it gonna? Oh, just draw it again. Right, line there. Let's draw it a bit longer. Tab 45 degrees. Okay. Right, so there we go. We go up here, and we can take that across. Oops, a daisy. Right, so that's L for line, cross, escape, L for line. Okay, so now all we have to do is trim this out. So right click once we've done our selections. Obviously, if you're on the web version, that's slightly easier, slightly more streamlined. And there's our box. There's our box. Yeah, that's the outline there. Okay. But what we want to know is about these three lines here. I mean, we've still got to put that hidden detail line in for the whole, but we can do that in exactly the same way that we did over here. Just draw a line from the quadrant up, draw a line from the quadrant up, and trim it to fit and make sure it's hidden detail. But these three lines here are a little bit more tricky. You know, where do we put them? I mean, we could select a midpoint, draw it from midpoint to midpoint, offset, or we could do this. We can go from here to here to here, and we can go from here, L for line, just going to the intersect there. Okay, escape, L for line, there to there to there. And again, we can just very quickly use the trim command, select all that, right click, there we go. Select everything there, escape to come out of the commands. And that's it. Those lines are in exactly the right place because we use this geometry that we'd already created. So we can check that if you like. So they should be 1.5 millimeters apart. So should we check? There we are, 1.5, 3 millimeters across. Yeah, and we can check if it's at the midpoint as well, can't we? So let's line, control and right click, midpoint. There we go. Yeah, I've selected the line. You can see the triangle for the snap is right on the midpoint there. So we know that geometry is correct. Then we can just construct those curves in exactly the same way as we did over here, and we can do that hidden detail line for the hole just there. And that's a really useful technique. I mean, this is a fairly simple example, but as you can imagine, as drawings get more complicated, you can save yourself a lot of time and effort by putting in that 45-degree line and just bringing up that detail across and then trimming it out and just bringing that detail up and straight across. Because if you measured it once, you don't have to measure it again. Certainly when you were doing drawings by hand, that was a very good shortcut to ensure accuracy and consistency. Okay, so that's that. And then finally, our final bit for today is drawing this. People look at this and they go, what do we do? So personally, I'd start with the circle. What do we know about the circle? We're told it's radius 11. Okay, so this circle is radius 11, diameter 22. Okay, and this little inside circle is diameter 6. All right. So start with the circle. So let's just put that back down to size. There we go. So let's bring that in so that we know what we're looking at. Okay, he says, bring that in so we know what we're looking at. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Okay, so I'm going to start with a circle. Oops, let's come off construction layer. There we are. C for circle. And that was radius 11, so I'm just going to type in 11. So there's our circle. It's the right size. Okay. Then I'm going to do a line from the center. Can you see I go to the edge and it snaps to the point in the middle? Okay, that little green circle. Okay, so there's our center line. I'm going to use the offset command, 6.35, because we know that that center line is 6.35 from the edge. Okay, so I'm going to offset by 6.35. Okay, there we go. Boom. Okay, I'm just going to click on that, grab the end, drag it down, and then I'm going to use the trim command, TR for trim there, so we select our cutting line, don't we? Okay, and then there we are. Okay, and then we can erase that construction line. And, straight away, it's looking better, isn't it? Okay. I mean, you might be saying, but Steve, what does it look like? Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look. I've already got this one open somewhere, haven't I? It's called, is it the threaded hinge? No, it's not the threaded hinge, it's the end. End hinge, there we are. There. So let's get that shaded. Okay. So this is what it looks like in 3 dimensions. So looking at the engineering drawing, we're starting there, and then we move it across to there. We'll move it from there round to there. So you can see when we look at it end on, we've got the lines that show us where this face is, and then we've got the top and bottom lines of the curve going away into the screen. Okay, so we're just going to, oops daisy, I'm just going to draw that quickly. Yeah, so back to the end hinge there. Right, so again, we're just going to whack up some construction lines. So I'll just do that in red. So line, and we're going to do control, and we're going to go to the quadrant once more. So there's our quadrant. Okay, line, we're going to go, I'm just going to type QUAD and press enter. You can see me doing that there. Okay, so now we know that if we do a line down here, like that, then we can offset that line by 19. So I'm going to do that right now. Offset by 19. Specify line. Yeah, that's correct. That's my outside box. So I can just trim that out again. Okay. Just very quickly trim that out. Okay. I'll change that to white in just a moment. So we've got the outline, we've got that right. But what about this line here and that line? How do we know where to place that on this object? Well, it's going to be the same point as this corner and this corner, isn't it? So let's just take that across. Yeah, let's just take it across. Yeah, and then we can just trim that out again. TR for trim. Let's just select everything. Let's get rid of that. Trim again. That's my cutting line. Right click. Come on, there we go. There. And that's it. We've got those lines in. Yeah. Everything else then is just a question of, putting in a construction center line and doing a bit of offsetting for this. You can find the center point because you can use the annotate center lines to get that point, and then you can draw the circle. Yeah. And when you've drawn your circle, you can draw a line back across to put that in the right place for the hidden detail. And what is this? Well, how do we make a hole? We use a drill. So this is the leftover, that's the point of the drill. That's the drill point, and that's why we specified 12 millimeters depth, plus we've got that little extra depth because we've got the end of the drill there. That's the drill tip, isn't it? Okay. And that is, I think, everything that you should be needing for that. All right, thank you very much for that. And if you've got any more questions, just let me know.